In this topic, we'll be looking at proofs that are not valid. So if we were to look at the let sentence at the beginning, we're saying that the variable A is going to equal variable B. And if we start doing some operations on both sides to change the way the setup is looking, we should get a true statement at the end. But let's just have a look at what's going on here. So step 1. A and B are equal. Step 2, multiply both sides by A. So we have A times A, which is A squared, and B times A, which is BA. Next, add AB to both sides. So you can see that's been done. Simplified that to step 4. So now it's 2A squared equals A squared plus AB. Next, in brackets, you can see subtract 2A from both sides. So we're seeing that here. So we've got 2A being taken from both sides. And then step 6, we have kind of a combination of steps. So we've got a positive AB and a negative 2AB. So a negative 2 combined with a positive 1 is a negative 1 AB. And then the step 7, the step given to us was factor out 2 from the left-hand side. That's LHS, left-hand side. So we factored out 2 from all of this. And that 2 is as a greatest common factor in front of the brackets. This one here, if you were to make it look similar, throw it in brackets, put a 1 in front. And then the following step, so going from step 7 to step 8, you, as you see in the brackets here, are dividing through by A squared minus AB. So we get something that doesn't work. 2 equals 1 is not a true statement. 2 does not equal 1. So something happened in here. So our step that we're looking at, which step was the error in? So the error would have been from step 7 down to 8. Okay, so the idea that we're dividing both sides by A squared minus AB. And the reason for that is at the top, we had said that A equals B. So if we are going to take step 7 and work with that a little bit, now we're going to combine that down here. So 2 times any place that I see a B, we'll keep the A's in there. Any place that I see a B, which is right here, I'm going to put an A. So we're going to multiply by A. And we'll do the same on the right. So A squared minus A times A. And then we'll just simplify that a little bit. So it's 2 bracket A squared minus A squared, which equals 1 times A squared minus A times A is A squared. Okay, so when you're done, oops, leave that bracket there, you should have 2 times A squared minus A squared is 0, and 1 times A squared minus A squared is 0. So you should technically have 0 times 2 is 0 equals 1 times 0, which is 0. So that makes this a true statement. And that's where the error was occurring between step 7 and step 8. So you can save step 7. The reason for this, if you were actually going to go through and do a little division using the steps that were actually here, you would have had to do 2 times A squared minus AB. Just do the left-hand side. If you're actually dividing that by A squared minus AB, what this actually equals is 2 times 0. We already worked out that this bracket would have been 0. So we've seen all that work over here. Okay, so that became 0. So technically this would have been 2 times 0 over 0. It's the same thing. So that would have been 0 over 0, which is an undefined scenario, not geared for the nature of this question. If you were to just put it into your calculator, it would see error or undefined. But this is geared for different types of math questions. So in this case, we go with undefined. So we can't do it in this question.